All right, BarNaturalPrez, talk to the people, man. Let them know what's getting ready to go down.
Yo, what's going on, YouTube? You guys saw that front lever? If you're a beginner, intermediate, whatever you are, if you guys want to build up your pull strength to get moves like that front lever, this is the video for you. This is going to be specifically for beginners, though. We're going to be teaching beginners how to train for pull-ups. You want to get strength to do front levers, back levers, you're going to have to master your pull-ups and get really good and strong at them. So listen, pull-ups, everyone thinks it's going to be, well, primarily it is, it's a back movement, right? We train our posterior chain. Remember, posterior chain means the back side of your body. So pull-ups primarily train your lats and the whole back. It's also going to incorporate biceps, a little bit of shoulders, rear delts. Again, excellent, probably one of the number one upper body movements you guys can do. Again, if you guys have no access to weights, pull-ups and dips will build you an amazing upper body, those two exercises alone. So work on getting good at pull-ups and dips. So beginners, you guys might see, so we're starting at a dip bar today. You guys might think, why would we be on a dip bar if this is a beginner pull-up workout, right? How is a dip bar gonna improve learning pull-ups, right? So this is for exact beginners. If you guys can't do a pull-up yet and trying to build up your strength, listen, follow these principles. The reason why we're starting on a dip bar is you guys want to master calisthenics. What is calisthenics? It's mastering your body weight. So before you should be able to do a pull-up, before you could even get on the floor and do dips or push-ups, mastering your body weight, I want you guys to learn straight arm holds, right? You guys might think, how's this gonna benefit pulls? Well, number one, holding yourself locked out like this in perfect form with your toes pointed down, legs together, glute squeeze, is gonna teach your body that full body tension. Secondly, it's not only gonna be an upper body anterior muscle exercise. Remember, anterior is the front of your body, posterior means the back of your body. So the anterior muscles are your chest, your shoulders, your biceps. Posterior muscles are your back, your lats, your traps, your rhomboids, right? So even though this would primarily be, people might think, oh, we're training chest and shoulders here, this is gonna be a full upper body exercise. It's gonna cause tension throughout the whole posterior chain, because remember, if you're not in perfect form, your traps are gonna sink. Traps are part of your posterior chain. You need to have a whole strong posterior chain in order to master pull-ups. So the first exercise I want you guys to do, and I want you guys to do this on your pull days and your push days, it's gonna really teach you that full body tension and building up that intrinsic strength, right? So it's gonna teach you how to master your body weight in the simplest form. Just being able to support yourself on two arms with everything perfectly straight. Now you wanna keep your toes pointed down, you want your feet straight, because now remember guys, when you're doing pull-ups, you're not looking like this, right? A perfect pull-up, your whole body's in a line, right? You're moving up and down. Number one mistake people make when doing pull-ups, they don't have that squeeze in the glutes, right? They don't keep their legs together and their feet pointed down, which makes their form sloppy and also makes it harder to control a rep. So listen, if you guys jump up into an exercise and you guys are swinging around like this, right? All this swinging means that your body's unstable. You have no core activation stabilizing yourself. So the first thing I want you guys to build up on is building up to being able to do a 1 minute strict hold on this bar. It's gonna force, like I said, full body alignment, full body tension. Now beginners, you guys can do 4 sets of 15 seconds, resting about 45 to 60 seconds in between each set. Ideally, you wanna build up to being able to hold for 1 whole minute. Now, right now, as you're holding, look, I'm probably been talking to you guys maybe 25, 30 seconds right now. You're already gonna start to feel your whole upper body shaking, right? So you're gonna think, why is this only upper body? Because now if you start shaking here and your body's not engaged on the bottom, you're gonna wanna drop your traps. Everything's gonna be unstable. So you have to be completely straight the whole time. You're pushing that bar down, your body is elevated, feet are being pointed down. Now the reason why I'm really strict on this exercise, I have all my clients do it, again, it's gonna teach you, now we're gonna get to the pull-up bar. It's going to teach you guys how to, look, number one, like I said, people are always sloppy with their pose. That's the number one mistake I see people make. When they jump on the bar, they don't know how to stabilize, right? They're already swinging like this, their feet are not together. This is how you guys gotta learn to get on the bar. Before you even get on that bar, feet together, everything tight. You're engaging your lower body. You're squeezing your glutes. Now, number one cue I want you guys to remember. Reach for that bar Engage your core, suck your stomach in, squeeze your glutes. Now when you reach for that bar, hold up guys, I'm just, so you can see better. Hold up guys. This way you guys can see what I'm talking about. Wow. You guys reach for that bar. Don't come to the bar like this, right? Look, loose, no engagement in the lower body. Like I said, feet together, ground your feet into the floor. Suck your stomach in, squeeze your glutes. Reach your elbow, reach your arms almost out of the shoulder socket, right? Reach for the sky as if you're reaching, and you're trying to reach something out of your reach. That's gonna cause that full body tension. We're not even on the bar yet, and every muscle in my body is engaged, right? So now when we jump up, how do we jump up perfectly? You jump, now look, I'm in a perfect line, right? No shaking, there's no swinging in my body, no break in my hips. Once you guys get that break in the hips and you lose this engagement, that's when you guys are gonna start swinging. And now listen, this is gonna make the reps the hardest. If you're swinging and you're trying to control your feet like that, your body's not gonna know what to do. It's gonna think, am I trying to pull up? Am I trying to control my core? You're gonna have too much to think about. Going up to that bar, feet together, stomach sucked in, squeeze those glutes, build up that intrinsic energy before you even getting on that bar. Look, if you were touching me right now, my lats are already solid. Everything's flexed. Why? Because I'm stretching my lats out. This is a stretch, and now hanging, right? Hanging on the bar, stretching your lats out, right? You can stretch your lats out without touching nothing. Just reach, keep reaching up, again, as if you're reaching for something towards the sky that you cannot reach for and you can't jump for. So now when you're under that bar, everything's engaged, you jump, you're already solid, you're already secure, no movement. Now you can start working on pulls. Now remember, this is for beginners, so I do not expect you to be able to even do that pull yet. So now, most people would teach you guys to do Australian pull-ups before getting on a pull-up bar, which is a good method, right? But before I have anyone do Australian pull-ups, what they should master is, again, the same way I have you guys start this routine on the dip bar holding, locked out with full body tension, you guys gotta get good at dead hanging. Dead hanging is gonna be critical to building up pull strength, because the first thing that goes for people during a setup that can do pull-ups is typically grip strength. Grip strength means your forearms get weak and you can no longer grip that bar and you start losing your grip and you can't pull no more. That typically happens first before people start fatiguing their lats. That's pretty much the number one thing that makes people get off that bar. And the best way to build that strength up is working on dead hangs. Again, the same way you guys want to aim for 60-second straight arm lockout holds. Listen, this is gonna almost be opposite force movements, right? So you want to start the routine looking to build up to a 1 minute straight arm lockdown hold, right? You're pushing down, the forces are pushing, but again, you're not only engaging your chest, shoulders, but you're engaging the whole posterior chain, because that's the stabilization when you're on the dip bar. Remember, but you're pushing down the whole time. Now what are you doing? Almost same movement pattern, same plane of motion. Now all we're doing is hanging. It's almost a, we're not actually pulling, but we're thinking of stretching our feet down now and letting our lats stretch. So it's almost our body's pulling us this way, as opposed to when we're on the bar, we're pushing down. Opposite energy forces, but you're learning to build that full body tension and that intrinsic energy in a stagnant position, in an isometric position without any joint movements. But remember, isometrics could be anything. This could be an isometric hold, this could be an isometric hold, and as well as a dead hang. The purpose of the straight arm movements is to build that stability in the shoulder joint, the core, so you guys learn how your body should be moving and feeling when doing repetitions. So again, remember, perfect jump, no movement in the body. Now, once you guys get that jump down, now you guys want to work on dead hanging. Beginners, 4 sets, 15 seconds. From there, you guys should build up 3 sets, 20 seconds. Then try to hit 2 sets of 30. Then aim for a straight 1 minute dead hang. And again, guys, you want your toes pointed down always. That's one of the common mistakes I would see people doing. They hang like this. Listen, if you're hanging and your feet are not together, that means there's loose energy being dispersed. If there's loose energy in the kinetic chain, that means you can't optimize force production. So remember, when everything is together and your body's working in unison, in sync, like it's supposed to be for every rep, right? Boom, boom, none of this, right? If you're doing that, there's energy being dispersed everywhere. You're not just focusing on pulling now. Now your body has to work on stabilizing the core. Your lower back's like, why is my leg going backwards? Your body's not working in unison. So the two first exercises that are really critical, straight arm holds, and again, I want you guys to do that on your pull and your push day workouts, because that's gonna train, like I said, the full upper body. It's gonna train the anterior muscles, because you're holding in almost that internal rotation. You guys don't ever want to be back like this on the dip bar, right? Don't ever roll your shoulders back. That's going to impinge the shoulders and set you up for injury. So you always want to be more neutral to slightly forward rolled when you're holding that dip position. And then you come to that dead hang. That externally rotates your shoulder and puts it in perfect posture. And now you're just dead hanging in a straight line, right? Building up 1 minute holds per set. That should be the goal. Now, once you guys get good at mastering your body weight, remember, calisthenics is mastering your body weight. So if you can't do a dead hang, if you can't do a hold on the bar, you're not ready to progress yet, right? So once you master those two movements, now you can start working on your actual pull strength. So typically, people would start with Australian pull-ups, right? So what I would do is, I would judge somebody. I would have them try the Australian pull-ups first, and I would judge their strength. So let me, for instance, once you guys have already mastered the dead hang, that's going to build strength in basically the pulling muscles, but you guys haven't yet trained for a pull. But your body's gonna be used to supporting itself on a bar, so it's gonna be used to your load. That's gonna have a dramatic benefit from getting past this next exercise. So once you guys master dead hang, I would say, all right, let's try out rows. Remember, bodyweight rows, also called Australian pull-ups, is an inverted pulling motion. So remember, guys, you want to start, you need a dip bar for this or any type of horizontal bar that's not too high. This is ideally perfect height. You want it to be about waist high. When you're setting up, you want to sit on the floor. You want your hips right in line with the bar. You want to grab the bar right outside shoulder width. And now again, we're going to come to a dead hang position. Now once you guys have mastered a dead hang on the pull-up bar, this should be quite easy. All you're going to do is come up. Now look, first mistake people make when doing rows is they're like this, right? Their shoulders are rolled forward. That means there is no engagement of the posterior chain. How do you engage the posterior chain? You pull the shoulder. Look at this, guys, watch. No movement in my arms. Look at the difference. Look at my shoulders now. Pulling, you do not want to pull like this. That's going to set you up for injury. All I'm doing is lifting my chest up, squeezing the glutes, and rolling the shoulders back. This is perfect starting position. Now, when I judge somebody, if I say, okay, do a pull your chest to the bar, right? If somebody can only get to here, which many people can only pull to here, even after building up dead hang strength, because remember, dead hang strength is going to just teach you alignment, and alignment is more critical than moving on to repetitions. You want to learn how to keep your body in a line. So once they master the dead hangs, even if they come to this bar and they can only pull to here, and they're struggling, all right, now we're going to work on our pull strength. But some people, even if you're a beginner, will build up pull strength just from that hold, just from those dead hang holds. So then I'll say, all right, let's see you do a row. And some people will just naturally be good at rows, right? It won't be that hard of an exercise. Why? Because now, look, your feet are on the floor. So the amount of load that you're used to holding in this position is actually less than when you're holding in a dead hang. So some people may actually just be able to bang out rows very easily. If that's the case, I would not have rows for their second exercise. But if you're somebody that when you get on this bar and you're in alignment and you're perfectly locked out and you pull and a row is hard for you guys, that's when we're going to start working on rows. So we're going to work on that variation first. So beginners, if you guys are just building up that strength and rows are hard for you still, first thing you guys want to do, again, from here, I want you guys just to pull at 90 degrees, hold 1, 2, 3, come back down. Hold at 90 degrees, come back down. Now over time, so you would just do 1 repetition per set, right? So you would come up, hold 90 degrees, 1, 2, 3, come back down, rest a minute, do it again. Remember, if that's a hard movement for you, that intensity of you just holding like this for 3 seconds, the intensity is going to be very high. Remember, intensity refers to load, meaning your body weight. So if your body weight causing the intensity of the exercise to be that hard that we can only get to here, 1 rep per set is all we're going to be doing. But now over time, say we do day 1, we do 5 sets of a 3-second hold here. 1, 2, 3. Come down, rest a minute, go back up, set 2. 1, 2, 3. Remember, when you come back down, guys, you always want to come back down in perfect form. Ignore me when I'm doing it fast right now. You don't ever want to drop like this. So you always want to drop back down to where your shoulders are retracted. Don't drop like this, right? So don't pull and drop. Don't pull and drop. That's the purpose of teaching you the engagement exercises, the dead hangs and the holds. Why? Because that's going to teach you guys to always be squeezing the glutes. If you're squeezing the glutes, when you drop, everything's going to be perfect. If you don't squeeze the glutes, that's where you're going to have the break in the hips. So beginners, like I said, day 1, let's say you come to the bar, you can only get to 90 degrees, hold for 2 to 3 seconds. If you hit 5 sets of that, and you guys can take 2 3-minute breaks in between each set, I guarantee you 3 days later, you come to pull. Now instead of pulling to 90 degrees, you're going to get to here. You're going to get past 90. And then what are you going to do? Now you're going to work this hold. 1, 2, 3. Full lockout. Come down. Rest a minute. 1, 2, 3. And you guys can start every time that you get on this bar, every next exercise session. If you got, listen, basics, and you guys got to be consistent with the movement. You can't do it one time and think you mastered already. So like I said, day 1, just pull the 90 degrees. Hold at that 90 degree mark. Don't even try passing 90 degrees. Hold at 90, drop back down. 5 sets of 3 to 5 second holds, whatever you're comfortable doing. On day 2, 3 days later, I guarantee you when you go to pull, you're gonna pull past 90 much easier. Now you're gonna hold here. Again, 3 to 5 seconds, come back down, rest a good minute to 3 minutes, set 2. Pull past 90, hold. And the reason why you wanna rest 2 to 3 minutes is because these sets are pretty much max effort, right? That 1 rep hold, you're still building up that strength to be able to rep. So it's almost max effort every set. And there's no way you guys could hit max intensity / max effort sets with low break periods because your body will not recover completely. If the exercise is so intense where you're using all your effort and you're only getting a 3 to 5 second hold and then you're dropping, the rest period should be a good 3 to 5 minutes. If it's easier, you guys can drop the break periods down to 1 to 2 minutes. It all depends on what level you're at. And after a while, once you guys start getting comfortable and you can pull 1 full rep chest to bar, now you guys can start working on reps. So now instead of working isometric holds, now you guys want to build up to first being able to do 5 by 5. 3, 4, 5, down, boom. Remember guys, 5 by 5 principles are going to be guaranteed for you guys to notice your progress and to build up strength. You're consistently working it at a set in load, meaning intensity. So remember, if you're doing 5 by 5 with weighted pulls, the goal is to be able to hit all 5 sets for 5 repetitions with the same break period each set, right? And remember, that's how you master a weight. So if let's say I have 70 pounds on, right? And I'm doing 5 by 5. And let's say set 1 I hit 5, set 2 I hit 5, set 3 I hit 4, set 4 I hit 4, set 5 I hit 3. That means the next time I come to this workout, I'm not ready to go past 70 yet. Why? Because I haven't mastered the 5 by 5 yet. So once you guys get comfortable at being able to do rows, now you guys want to work up building 5 by 5 strength. Now, if you guys, like I said, if you're one of the people who, after learning dead hangs, rows were easy for you, and you could bang out as a beginner, easy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just say you're a beginner and you try, all right, let me try doing rows now. You already, like I said, some people are just better at calisthenics than others. Some people have less load, meaning their body weight to pull. If you're a skinnier person, typically you're gonna be a lot easier to pull your body weight around. If you're a beginner calisthenic athlete and you're heavier, everything is gonna be harder. Remember, you have to move your body weight. Your body weight is your load. So if you're heavier, everything will be a little harder. So now, once you master the rows, whether you're a beginner or intermediate, Now we're back to the pull-up bar, right? So now we're gonna go back on our principles of dead hang strength. So if we're a beginner that's skipping the rowing routine, right? I'm not skipping rows completely. Remember, not everybody's the same. Not everybody's gonna start at the same level. Some people are gonna be able to skip the rows before having to learn pull-ups. Some people will already be naturally good at the rows and they can start learning pull-ups. So now if that's you, so you guys would master the holds on the dip bar, the dead hang, then you guys would start working pulls, right? So now, we're gonna hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 pull-up, come down. And we're gonna start increasing. All we're gonna do is build up strength to begin with, being able to pull from a dead hang. Because again, if you're in competition or whatever, this is a full rep, here to here. This, a lot of people, another mistake, people think, oh, I can do a pull-up. So they'll jump on the bar and they'll already jump without dead hanging. So they'll jump past the hardest point, right? Remember, come a little closer, just make sure you can see. When you're jumping on the pull-up bar, every rep should start from here, from a dead hang position. A lot of people like to throw cheat reps in, and what they'll do is they'll jump, they'll pull, and they're eliminating the whole bottom portion of the repetition, which is typically the hardest part of the rep. If you can't pull out of the hole, you can't do a pull-up. So you gotta be able to build that dead hang strength, and the best way to do that is start learning scapular pulls. So now, G, you're gonna have to come from behind. Remember, straight arm movement. I'll come on this bar.
Okay.
Look, guys, another straight arm movement, which is gonna teach you how to get that initial pull strength going. So watch. Locked out, full dead hang. You cannot do this movement if you guys start cheating and doing your pulls like that. You'll never be able to build the strength necessary. So watch. You're gonna dead hang, arms stay straight. All you're gonna do, those are called scapular shrugs or scapular pulls, right? And there's variations of it. You'll see people doing scapular pulls like this when they pull all the way back, right? That's all takes levels, that takes time to build into. The first thing you guys want to be able to do from this dead hang position, remember, dead hang is a passive position. There's such thing as active movement and passive when it comes to pull-ups, right? So active means you're engaging the scapula. You cannot be active if you cannot do a scapular pull-up. So everybody that jumps on the bar as a beginner is always going to be passively hanging because they're not going to have that strength to actually retract and activate the muscles. When they call an active dead hang, that just means there's muscles activated now. When you're in a passive dead hang, that means you're literally not activating any muscles. All you're doing is hanging by, and it's all grip strength and forearm strength and just stretching out the lats. So remember, active and passive, they're two separate type of dead hangs. Let me just demonstrate them. Gee, come on the high, I'll do it here. So remember, I'm gonna demonstrate active first so you guys can see the difference. So ready? This is an active dead hang. Ready? You guys see that? You guys might not notice it, but now watch. Now I'm passive. Nothing, look, I'm loose. Everything is loose. My body's still tight together, but there's no engagement of the posterior chain. Now I'm gonna go back to active. Ready? You see that slight movement? That's called a scapular retraction. You guys can practice it, not even on a bar. Look, reach for the sky, bring your shoulder blades down and back. Reach for the sky. This is mimicking a passive dead hang, reaching for the sky. Now you bring your shoulders down and back. You're engaging the lats, you're engaging the scapula, you're engaging the traps and the rhomboids. Number one exercise you guys have to practice in order to learn a full dead hang pull-up. Because again, none of this does not count. You can't jump on the bar and pull and start repping like this, right? You see people do that all the time. Those are not pull-ups, those are quarter reps. They're not going to count. If you're in a competition, it's not going to give you the full muscle building effects of pull-ups. So remember, you guys want to be able to pull from a dead hang. So once you guys master the dead hangs for 1 minute, a scapular pull-up will be pretty easy. So all you're going to do is you're going to start with no engagement. Remember, passive. What all you're going to do is bring your shoulders down and back. It's going to teach you how to pull out of the hole. So now, when you're in a dead hang position and you pull up, naturally you're gonna retract first. That's gonna engage all the posterior muscles correctly. That's gonna put you in proper pulling motion, save you injury free. Because remember, pull-ups, you do not ever want to have your shoulders roll forward, right? You'll see people doing this. And then they like reach forward when they're struggling, right? I can't even demonstrate it. And they try to like bend their elbows forward. Elbows should never be in front of you during a pull-up, right? You guys gotta think. You're pulling your elbows down and back. Initiate the movement by pulling your elbows down and back and trying to shoot your chest to the bar. That should be the goal in the head. So remember, guys, if you guys are skipping the rows and you're trying to get up to the pull-up bar and learning your pulls for the first time, what I want you to do, dead hang, retract, hold this retracted position, and then pull up. Work 1 rep at a time. Retract, pull. And I want you guys, again, to build up a 5x5 strength. So perfect form pose. Dead hang, retract, 1. Dead hang, retract, 2. Dead hang, retract, 3. Dead hang, retract, 4. Dead hang, retract, 5. That's the goal you guys want to aim up to. 5 sets of 5 reps. Remember, if you're a beginner and you're just learning it, you're probably only going to get 1 rep a set. You're going to get on that bar, you're going to dead hang, you're going to retract, you're going to pull. Your pull might look like this. That's how your pull looks. That's fine. You get off the bar. Because like I said, the hardest part is getting from here out of that hole. If you guys keep practicing that and keep failing here, every time you fail, you're gonna fail farther and farther towards a pull-up, right? So day 1, you might pull to here, set 1. All right, come down. You're gonna rest 2 to 3 minutes. All right, we're gonna try again. Set 2, you're gonna pull to here. Every set, you're gonna pull higher and higher, because once you start retracting, your whole body is learning to activate the proper pulling muscles. If you're doing it like this and getting on the bar like this, starting like this and pulling up, you're missing out the hardest part of the exercise. So building up strength slowly through the full range of motion is the proper way to do it. Like I said, the same way on rows, guys. If on day 1 you pull, you can only get to 90 degrees, you do 5 sets of 90-degree holds. The second day you try to do this pull-up routine, which you guys should give yourself a good 48 hours break. So 3 days later, rest day 1, day 2, you hit it on the 3rd day again. You go to pull, you're gonna pull way past that 90 degrees. Same thing is gonna happen when you try to get on this pull-up bar. You're gonna dead hang, you're gonna retract. Next day you come to do it, you're gonna pull a lot higher. And if you're already pulling for 1 rep on day 1, next time you get up here, remember, you can't just do 1 set. You guys gotta do the movement over consistently. That's how your body's gonna learn the movement, and the central nervous system's gonna adapt to the movement pattern. It's gonna learn how to engage the proper movement, the muscles, right? That's why it's very critical. Listen, when you're advanced, like myself included, I'm usually hitting 10 sets of a given exercise. Not that I'm trying to learn the movement better. Now I gotta now I have to add intensity to it. And I'm doing, remember, 5 sets in the beginning. Over time, you're gonna be able to build up work capacity and volume. So 10 sets of 10 reps, as opposed to 5 sets of 5 reps is a more of advanced routine, right? That's how you build up volume once you learn and master movements. But it's all the same principles. As a beginner, you gotta hit those sets over and over and over again. You could even do 10 sets of 1, 10 sets of 2. The more sets you do, the more you practice the movement, the more efficient your body's gonna become at it. But that's the thing. You have to learn when to stop training the movement on a day, right? So if you're on the bar, right, and say you're aiming for a 5x5. Now you hit, and you're on day 1, all you're doing is retracting, getting 1 rep, coming down. Set 1, you do that, you rest. Set 2, you do that, you rest. Set 3, you do that, you're right. Now let's say you're on set 4. Now set 4 comes, you come, and you're only getting to here. Okay, set 4, boom. You rest again. You go for set 5. If it happens again on set 5, you're done, guys. Don't keep doing it. That's when you're gonna start what's called the law of diminishing returns. Too much volume, and remember, volume is relative. What one person can handle may be way too much for another person. So for instance, if I can hit 200 dips in a workout, right? And let's say George comes and he does 200 dips. 200 dips to George in a workout in a short amount of time. Let's say we do it in 10 minutes. Let's just say we're trying to do it in 10 minutes. Let's just say I could do it and it's easy for me. And for George, after 120 reps, he's struggling for those last 80 reps. at a certain point, those last 80 reps, there's gonna be a certain amount of reps that are gonna be too much for him to handle, and it's gonna be negative effects on his body. It's gonna build up too much cortisol levels. And listen, if you guys are sore for a particular muscle group for 3 days after you worked out, you did too much. You're probably not building muscle. Remember, you guys, muscle protein synthesis in a natural athlete stays elevated for up to 48 hours. That means after you train a muscle group, it's heightened and it's building for up to 48 hours. If you're too sore for up to, say you train a muscle group on Monday, say you do tons of push-ups and chest work on Monday, and on Thursday your chest is still lit, that means your body has never had a chance to recover yet. It's still breaking down those chest muscles. It's actually not gonna recover. That means you have too much cortisol elevated in your body, which is anti-anabolic, which is known as catabolic. So instead of building and repairing the muscle, you did too much work to make your muscle repair. So now it's, you worked it and didn't repair, and now it's like, all right, you did too much work, I'm gonna break down more. It's never gonna repair and sufficiently build and be able to work up more volume. And that works for any muscle, whether you're doing too many pull-ups as a beginner. You guys gotta know, if you start struggling towards the end, towards your reps at the end, and you're really struggling and you're pulling out max effort and you're not getting the reps in, just stop. Remember, you want to do quality repetitions as a beginner. You want to train good movement patterns. Once you start training shitty repetitions, you're giving your body and your nervous system signals like, well, how am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to be doing it cleaner, or am I supposed to be doing it all dirty and pushing out with all momentum? Remember, beginners, it's more critical to be strict. When you're advanced, you already know the principles. So now when you're an advanced athlete and say you're trying to push out a few more repetitions, you learn how to safely kip. You learn how to safely use momentum. Why? Because you went through the proper movement pattern so many times training up to it. That's why it's critical, guys. Don't rush through movements and progressions, right? Master one movement before trying to move to another one. So now, you guys are gonna think, okay, how come we're only doing pull-up work? Aren't chin-ups easier? If you're a calisthenic athlete and you're trying to get into any competition or just trying to pretty much do better in the sport, pull-ups are gonna be predominant pulling exercise that is judged, right? That's what people are gonna judge you on. Now, typically for beginners, a chin-up is an easier pulling exercise. Why is that? Because it involves more bicep work and more remember, pulling is gonna be a posterior chain workout. Primarily it's gonna work the lats, the traps, the rhomboids, the whole back. And what's the biceps on, right? Biceps, basically they're on the anterior part of your body. You're doing bicep curls, it's the front of your arms. What's on the back of your arms, a tricep. But now, listen, when you're doing a chin-up, your elbows are now allowed to be forward. So now you're using more anterior muscle groups to assist with the posterior work, right? So instead of pulling elbows down and back for a pull-up, now you're pulling elbows down, but you're also getting a lot more bicep activation, enabling more muscle groups to pull your body up. You guys should always train all angles. Number one injury that you're gonna see calisthenic athletes have is shoulder and elbow pain, right? And why does that happen? Too much movement in the same range of motion, right? Too many repetitions and not any diversity. That's a good thing. That's the one thing about calisthenics that people don't realize, right? Doing one thing over and over and over again is gonna have a negative effect on the body. So you guys gotta learn to train the joint in other angles that it works, because your elbow joint's not only supposed to work in a pull-up position, it does work and does flex excellently in chin-up. It does work in neutral grip too. Remember, these are all grips that your hands are gonna be in. So you wanna be able to train the grip and the elbow extensor and flexor in all positions to avoid injury. Me as myself, listen, I've been doing this for 10 years. I competed since 2013. I never trained chin-ups. The reason why I never trained it, why I had big arms as is. So I didn't want to make them any bigger and unproportioned. But what did that do for me? It made me really strong pulling like this, and it actually made my chin-ups weaker when they should have been a stronger movement. So let's just say I could do a 100-pound pull-up. I couldn't get a 100-pound chin-up. Why? Because I didn't have the strength in my bicep tendon. And what does that mean? So if you have too much strength, and if you do too many dips, what's that gonna work? That's gonna be working extension of the elbow joint. Remember, pulling is flexion of the elbow joint. Dipping is gonna be extension of the elbow joint. So you're gonna build strong tendons if you do a ton of dips and ton of pull-ups, but you're gonna have weak bicep tendon in the front, which is gonna lead to injury in the elbow joint. And remember, listen, shoulder, elbow, hand, hip, ankle, they're all connected. So let's just say if you have instability in the hip, that could lead to pain in the shoulder, which you may feel pain in the elbow. You may not even notice the hip is causing the elbow and the shoulder pain, but let's just say it's all stemming because you guys have instability in one side of your body. That's why it's gonna, and what's the one way that's gonna make you guys not learn to be stable? If you guys start doing sloppy reps, right? That's why learning that proper body alignment, that intrinsic energy in just that stagnant position, straight arm holds, dead hangs. It's gonna teach your body how to work in unison. Remember, if your body's working in unison, it's gonna avoid injury because it's working together. All the joints, all the muscles, your body is flowing fluidly. You guys see people doing push-ups like this, right? Where, look at my lower back, it's sunken in, right? That means all I'm doing is bringing my chest down. My lower back is getting a whole bunch of stress on it. It's no good. It's gonna give you what's called, one, it's gonna fuck up your posture. It's gonna make you have an anterior pelvic tilt. Also gonna put a lot of strain on your back. It's gonna weaken your core. Remember, your core is not only your abs, it's your obliques and your lower back. So remember, when doing push-ups, you've gotta be in a line. Your whole body, look, I go down in one line, I come up in one line. Same thing as a pull-up, right? You go up in one line, you come down in one line. None of this, right? Look, you see this guy? See how I'm swinging like that? Why is that? My body is not together. My loose limbs are causing dispersed energy. So now energy is going forward, energy is going backwards. You're not getting proper pull and proper engagement of the lats. So listen, back to the biceps and chin-ups. Once you guys, because look, you guys want to learn a pull-up, that's the routine, that's the purpose of this video. Pull-ups, right? But remember, in order to strengthen the pulls, you guys got to train all angles of pulling aspects. So, chin-up, do not neglect the chin-ups. Same principles that we start for pull-ups, that we use for pull-ups, we're gonna apply to chin-ups. We're gonna start working dead hang, full lockout, retract, pull, chin over the bar, full lockout, retract, pull, chin over the bar. Look guys, whole body straight, one line. The only reason why you see my legs bending is because this is the low bar that I'm demonstrating on. Again guys, this is probably the most important grip to train. Before chin-ups, even after, listen, while you're doing your pull-ups, you guys should always be practicing neutral grip position. Remember, neutral grip, neutral meaning palms facing each other. Remember, supinated is palms facing backwards. Pronated is palms facing forward. Pull-up grip is pronated. Supinated grip is chin-ups. Neutral grip means palms face each other. Now remember, if you're doing any type of exercise, shoulder press with dumbbells, bench press with dumbbells, people are always less in pain if they have any type of shoulder impingement or elbow impingement. Working anything in this neutral grip range is going to be less painful and more healthy for the shoulder joint and elbow joint in general. So number one thing you guys should practice, neutral grip. One of my favorite holds, right? 90-degree holds at neutral, because now you're putting your arm, remember neutral is going to be the most optimal position. It's going to engage the brachioradialis, the brachialis muscle, two other muscles that do not really get trained specifically when doing pulls or chins, but two muscles of the forearm and of the elbow joint that are going to be really critical for elbow health. So listen, one of my favorite exercises to do here, always again guys, you start full dead hang. Now this could be done, once you guys start learning pull strength, all you guys gotta wanna do here is get to 90 degrees. Pull to 90 degrees, now you guys wanna hold here. And when I'm holding, I'm squeezing these bars with my hands as hard as I can, working 90-degree angles, dropping down. Staying in that 90-degree angle is gonna be the optimal position for the joint. So once you guys practice and to work up to a 5x5 pull, I want you guys to start practicing neutral grip position before your chin-ups. Neutral grip pulls are gonna have, a great translation over to pull-up strength, because they're gonna involve the bicep, they're gonna involve the brachialis and the brachioradialis, two other muscles of the forearm and extensions of the elbow that don't specifically get trained in either the pronated or the supinated grip. So neutral grip pulls, again, once you guys master a pull-up, these will be no problem. But specifically, I want you guys to work on these 90-degree holds. Elbows in front of you. Listen guys, there's three planes of motion. We have the frontal plane, the sagittal plane, and the transverse plane. All movement gets done in one of the three planes, right? All exercise gets done in one of the three planes. Remember, a frontal plane, imagine, so frontal means your body is moving up and down. So imagine me doing a pull-up. There's a wall in front of me here, and there's a wall in front of this bar, and a wall behind this bar. I can fit in this bar just like this. What exercises can I do in this bar? I can do pull-ups. I can do pull-ups, right? Because my body's staying like this. I could go on a handstand position. I can go in a handstand position, and for calisthenics, those two, and maybe you could consider a muscle up, a frontal movement too, because again, all you're doing is moving up and down. Frontal plane movements, remember, up and down. That's why I love to combine shoulders and back training together, because they're two muscle groups that work pattern of movements very similar. So now, chin up grip, right? That would be a sagittal plane movement. So a sagittal plane movement is, now instead of having a wall in front of you and a wall here, you have a wall here and a wall here. So now you can do any movement that involves you going up and down with a wall on both sides. I can't do pull-ups because I can't open my arms up, right? But I can do a chin up. I can do a chin up, my elbows are now in front of me and I'm pulling up. Remember, wall on the side of me. What else can I do? I can do neutral grip pulls. Why? Wall on the side of me, right? Now if I was on the dip bars, right? So remember guys, handstand like this, wall on the side of me. Remember, frontal plane handstand, right? Now, say I'm on the dip bar and I'm now more in a neutral grip position. That's gonna work more sagittal plane. Why? Because my elbows are gonna be more in front of me as opposed to on the side. My hands are gonna be more here as opposed to here. And then you have the transverse plane, guys. Remember, transverse means any movement that gets done rotationally. So imagine you have your body's cut in half, top to bottom. Any movement you could do with your body cut in half. So a throwing exercise, any type of twisting. Those are exercises that people neglect the most. Core work. Those are all considered transverse exercises. Not many transverse calisthenic exercises that we're going to be talking about today. Because remember, if you're doing pull-ups, dips, push-ups, you're working in specific planes, up and down movements. There's no rotational aspect to those exercises, so you don't really hit the transverse movements, right? But you guys should definitely work on them. Ab movements. You guys could do like hanging leg, windshield wipers. All those that rotate the core and rotate the body. Those are called transverse plane movements. So remember guys, you guys want to master 5x5 pose. That should be the goal, whether you're a beginner. Now at the end, I always like to have people come back. So remember, now we're going to come back to the dip bar. We'll go back to our rows. Once you start mastering the 5x5, and you can hit 5 sets of 5 reps, or regardless, whatever you're at. After I hit my pulls, I always like to have my clients then go back to hit the rows under fatigue. Because why? Typically rows are always easier than pulls. So if you're a beginner, remember, if you're just learning the pull-up, first you guys want to learn rows, 5x5, then you guys can start working a 5x5 pull. Once you guys already start mastering pull-ups at the end of your routine, you always come back after your last set of pull-ups, you always want to come back to the row bar and max repetitions. Why? Because it's going to mimic the pulling motion with way less intensity, and you guys are going to add volume work in. And the only difference is, again guys, when you're doing pull-ups or any type of pulling exercise for your back, you got vertical movements and horizontal movements. Everything on the pull-up bar, whether you're doing pull-ups, chin-ups, neutral grip pull-ups, muscle-ups, those are all vertical movements. So what does that mean? You're only training your back in one plane. You guys got to focus on horizontal movements too. Bodyweight rows, even though they're an easier movement, that's why I tend to hit them at the end. When your pulling muscles are under fatigue, then you go under the bar, then you start hitting your horizontal rows. Because hitting them now, once you already mastered pull-ups, your body will be fatigued, the pulling muscle will be fatigued. These will become more of a strength/hypertrophy exercise, as opposed to hitting them first easy when you can hit 15 to 20 reps, and you can only do 5 pull-ups. It's more beneficial to do the pull-ups first and then do these and make them a harder exercise. And again, it's gonna give you that horizontal rowing aspect. And then once you guys get strong enough, you guys can start doing more advanced horizontal rows, like tuck rows. And a little tough here, a little tight quarters, but that's when, again guys, all the basics will lead up to that pull strength needed for more advanced moves like the back lever and the front lever and the muscle up. But you guys can't get through to those until you master the pulls. And I mean master, meaning not hitting just 5x5. You guys should be able to hit bodyweight pull-ups for sets of 20, a good 5 sets of 20 reps. That should be a goal to get up to, not before training for muscle up, but before trying to learn front levers and those real hard pulling motions. You guys want to have basic bodyweight strength and be able to hit a good 5 sets of 20 repetition pulls. So I hope this helped you beginners out, gave you guys a little insight of how you guys should go about training, the proper way to go on scaling the exercise. Remember, if rows are hard for you, do rows first before pull-ups. But if rows are easy for you, you guys don't have to focus too much on them. Skip the rows and work more on pull-ups. Because remember, the rows, everything is related to your body weight. Everything, remember, in calisthenics, intensity always refers to load. People think that, oh, it's such an intense workout. That's just a hard workout. It means your heart rate's elevated. That's not intensity. Intensity refers to load. So if I'm doing weighted pulls with a 70-pound load, that's the intensity I'm working at. If I'm doing 100-pound pulls, that's gonna be more intensity than doing 70-pound pulls. The intensity is gonna be higher. Same thing now, if you're a beginner and you're only being able to hit 1 to 5 reps with body weight, that means your body weight, the intensity that your body weight is bringing is great enough to be working still in that strength rep range. So remember guys, work at your level. If the rows are hard for you, that means that intensity, you haven't built past that intensity level yet and you're not ready for pulls. But if you could go on that row bar and hit it easy, 6 to 10 reps, when you're starting out as a beginner, no need to waste energy on that. Focus more on pulls because you're already gonna have that basic pull strength. Get your pull strength up, hit the rows at the end, no matter what. And don't forget guys, don't neglect the other types of pulling movements. Train supinated grips is really gonna strengthen the bicep tendon. Train neutral grips is gonna train the muscles of the forearm and the muscles of the flexing and extension of the elbow. So if you're a beginner, I hope this helped you out and told you the proper principles. Remember, don't do sloppy pulls. Don't jump on the bar and avoid doing the bottom part of the repetition. You guys wanna build that dead hang strength. You wanna build that scapular engagement, and guys wanna be able to pull from fully retracted position. You guys can do it yourself. Look, come up, just raise one arm up, put your left hand or the other hand on your lat, right? This is the muscle you guys want to feel. Now, if you guys just do this right now, right? I have no engagement, right? You're not going to really feel this muscle working. But now if you listen to me and follow my principles, you get to that bar, you reach this arm for the sky, you're going to feel all of a sudden this is already harder. So right now I'm just loose, my arm's just raised up, my muscle's loose, right? I'm soft. Once I raise it up, my muscle's stretched, it's engaged now. So now from here, remember, you're reaching for the bar. From here, once you're on that bar, boom. If you guys are just standing here and doing that retraction, you're gonna feel, boom, your whole back and whole, everything's gonna become rock solid, everything's gonna be engaged. From here, now you guys can pull your elbow back and you're gonna feel this muscle contract the whole time. So remember, don't just go up to the bar and think you're pulling, because I'm doing this right now. You guys might think it looks the same, but there is no engagement of my body. Now everything's locked out, my stomach is sucked in. It's automatic, guys. Once you start reaching for here, your feet are gonna ground more. Your stomach's gonna suck in. You guys gotta start learning. Squeeze those glutes, suck that stomach in. Build that intrinsic energy, those intrinsic forces. Feel your lat here, retract. Just do this for starters, guys. You guys are gonna feel how much engagement you get just practicing this retraction without even being on the bar. Master that first, don't cheat your reps. Get good at dead hanging passively, then learn how to get into an active dead hang, and then from there, you guys wanna work on building up 5x5 body weight strength. Once you get up to 5x5, aim for 3 sets of 10. Then once you can hit 3 sets at 10, aim for 5 sets of 10. Once you can hit 5 sets of 10 with body weight reps, now you can start throwing on weight and starting over. 5x5 again, 3 sets of 10 with the load, 5 sets of 10 with that load. Then you can increase the load again. Remember, you guys don't always have to think about, adding more weight, adding more repetitions. Stick to the basic principles, and over time, you're gonna get stronger and stronger, and you're gonna be able to build up load gradually. There's no need to jump from 20. You don't gotta start at 10-pound pulls and then try to go to 20, then to 30, then to 40. You guys can do it slower, 20, master 20, go to 25, master 25, go to 30, master 30. I mean, honestly, I would prefer to do it by 10, so 20, 30. But I meant to say before, don't do it like 20 pounds, then try to go to 45 pounds. Not gonna be beneficial for you guys. 20, 30, 40, that'll be more beneficial. But if you're a beginner, guys, there's no need to jump from body weight to 20 pounds. Start body weight, then try to just do it with 5 pounds. Then you guys can go 10 pounds. Gradual jumps at first. Don't do too much, because again, your body's just gonna be in for a big shock and it's not gonna be as productive. Build up strength over time, because if everyone could just keep jumping up in weight, then everyone would be doing 200-300 pound pulls, because no one would hit a limit, right? You'd always be able to improve, but that's not the case. Progress is not always gonna be linear. Eventually you're gonna hit a max where you cannot hit any more weight. So what do you do in that particular sense? You're gonna have to start doing slower repetitions, pause reps. Remember, you don't always have to add weight to increase the intensity. If body weight reps come too easy and you could do 5 sets of 10 easily, okay, so start doing 5 sets of 10 pause reps. 1 second pause on the bottom, 1 second pause on top. 1 second pause on the bottom, 1 second pause on the top. You guys can increase the time under tension with your body weight or whatever load you're working before having to jump up in weight. So remember, guys, always train smart, always train hard. Remember, don't skip progressions. Don't rush through the movements. Just gonna set yourself up for injury. You're never gonna build that base strength that's always gonna stick with you. Hope you enjoy this. If you're a beginner, you guys could also use these principles whether you're intermediate too or advanced. Listen, I still do these bar holds. I aim for max time. 3, 4, 5 minute holds on the dip bar is a goal. I mean, I could do 3 minutes and I'm shaking like crazy. Goal is to be able to hit a nice 5 minute straight hold. You know how much tension you have to build inside your body to hold 5 minutes on that dipper, and all you're doing is holding up. Try doing a 3 minute dead hang. You think it's easy, it's not. So don't rush the movements, guys. Just try to hold for a minute at a time and hang for a minute at a time. Over time, you guys are gonna notice how much overall body awareness and body weight strength you gain. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, subscribe to Good Money's channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel, BarNaturalPrez. He'll put the link in the description. Leave a comment, share the video. You already know it. I get back to all the comments on George's, always the comments on mine. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Peace out.
Thanks a lot, Prez.
BarNaturals.
More coming soon from the Prez,
go.
man. All right.